to be standing in the freest state in the United States, and then in the symbol of freedom right here at the Freedom Tower in Miami. And I think if you look around what Constitution Hall would mean to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, what the Alamo would mean to Texas, the Freedom Tower means to the state of Florida. It's a symbol of people seeking freedom and people who have fled communist dictatorship to be able to come live a life of freedom. And it puts it in stark relief, I think, because you're talking about 90 miles away, the difference between destitution and tyranny and the difference between freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. And I'd say there's probably no place in our country where that difference is more stark than comparing South Florida to the Cuban dictatorship that so many people fled. And so we're here today to have a great announcement, and I want to just thank President Madeline Cumurieta from Miami-Dade College for being here. I know we have some other dignitaries in the crowd. I know we got some mayors. I know Steve Bobo's here. I think Mayor De La Cruz from Hialeah Gardens. JC from Doral, I think, is here. I want to thank you guys for coming. And then we have some great folks up here who are going to say a few things. We have our Lieutenant Governor. We have Marcel Felipe, Silvio Iridado, and I think is Felix Rodriguez here too? I don't know. Okay, Felix is here. So we want to thank everybody for doing that. We have, if you look at what's going on right now in the island of Cuba, you've got a lot of people who are standing up and fighting against a brutal dictatorship. This is something that I think many of the people who fled Cuba over the decades probably never envisioned that the tyranny would last this long. And if you think about it, when communism fell in Eastern Europe, when the Soviet Union expired at the beginning of the 1990s, you still had this iron grip on this little island, and they didn't loosen the grip at all, even though the rest of the world had changed and Marxism, Leninism seemingly was on the ash heap of history. And if you look at now what's going on throughout the Western Hemisphere, the dictatorship in Nicaragua and the sham elections that they're doing there, you look at the destruction of Venezuela and other spots throughout the Western Hemisphere, none of that would be happening if not for this communist regime in Havana. This is the original cancer that has been metastasized throughout the Western Hemisphere. And so here we are, a whole generation after the defeat of the Soviet Union, after the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe, and you still have Marxism, totalitarianism, with a stranglehold on places in our own Western Hemisphere. We need to do more as a country to stand for people who are standing for freedom. And going back to July, we had opportunities to be able to make an impact. People weren't even asking, really, honestly, very modest requests in terms of what could be done to really make an impact. And to this date, in spite of months and months of people risking their lives, many people have been in prison falsely. Many people are being targeted by the regime in Havana. You've had almost no support whatsoever from the Biden administration, and I think that they're missing a historic opportunity to be able to make common cause with people who just want to be able to live in freedom, want to be able to have a voice in the public affairs of their country, and want to move beyond this communist dictatorship. We should all, as free people in the United States, want to see that happen. We should all want to see the day when we have a free Cuba. So the state of Florida stands with everybody that's taking to the streets, everybody that's protesting, everybody who wants to have a better life, and we will continue to do that. And I only hope that the Biden administration could see fit to provide some support, because so far they've provided none. Today we're here with a great announcement. I am proud to announce that in my upcoming legislative budget recommendations, we will be providing a $25 million investment in the Freedom Tower to preserve this monument for future generations. 600 years old, and it does need some major repairs and some restoration. These are needed to ensure that it will continue to stand here as a symbol of freedom and opportunity for decades to come. What we will be able to do with this funding is complete structural repairs that are very urgent, conserve and restore historical architecture components, make the building more accessible for people with disabilities, install museum-quality climate control and security systems to safeguard the Cuban American history stored here, and reimagine and redesign the exhibits displaying that history to make it more engaging for all ages. And I think it's very important. This is one example, but there's other examples. On Veterans Day, I made the point of our World War II veterans are passing from the scene. And we have some, God bless them, but most of them have passed. And there really is a danger just kind of forgetting about the sacrifices they had to make when they had to stand up against tyranny and save the world and save freedom in this world. And I think the same thing applies here, with the Freedom Tower. You had people flee the communist revolution starting in the late 1950s. Hundreds of thousands of people came right through here, the Freedom Tower in Miami, to be able to have a chance at freedom. And that's something that we need to make sure that we commemorate, and that we make sure we carry on the legacy of everybody who sought a better life here and were able to really build a tremendous community. And I can tell you, I talk to people all over the country. Everyone's talking about Miami right now. I mean, this is really the place to be for so many people, and so we're proud of that, but we need to be good stewards of this history. We need to make sure that people understand what this means, particularly in subsequent generations. I mean, we were just at, recently with, we gave Felix Florida Medal of Freedom, and we were at the brigade, and those folks in the brigade, I mean, are getting up in years, and I really appreciate what they've done to be able to make sure that the community appreciates the sacrifices that were made there. So we think that this is something that is needed now, but we think this is something that we want people looking to this, not just now or tomorrow, but 20 years, 30 years, 50 years down the road, to be able to understand the importance of this Freedom Tower and how huge of an impact this has made to the history of the state of Florida. Because I can tell you, you would not be seeing a lot of what's going on in Miami in terms of the boom. You didn't have so many people that were dedicated to freedom and that really valued it and did not take it for granted. So many people throughout the rest of our country, they just take it for granted because they think this is what they've always known. Nothing can ever change. And I think when people come to South Florida, people are very sensitive about liberty. They're very sensitive about having a free society because they've seen it taken away. And now we're in a situation that if they take it away from us here, we don't have a place that we're able to escape to. So this is really freedom's last stand. So I'm proud to be able to put this in our budget. I think we're going to get strong support from the Florida legislature to be able to do this. And I think it's going to be something that's going to make a difference for generations to come. So thanks for hosting us here. We were here actually. My first full day as governor was here. We did an announcement where we appointed a Cuban American to the Florida Supreme Court, Justice Barbara Lagoa. So that was a neat day, and I'm proud to be back here to be able to have this great announcement. So we're going to hear from a few folks. Jeanette Nunez, our Lieutenant Governor, who many down here know well.